Hello, boils and ghouls. Dr. Creepy here. Welcome in. I know it's been quite a while since I posted, and I do apologize for that. I'd really like to get back into this, but it is incredibly difficult for me. Anyway, if you'll remember, about a year ago, I did a review on this nifty little NECA Phantom of the Opera figure. Well, I started thinking I'd really like to find a place for him to live, and then I came across this post on Facebook. I found this on a Universal Monsters group on Facebook, and I thought it was really cool, and I'd like to copy something like this, do something like this. And I'm not sure who the original artist was. I do apologize for that. But I did find out that half of it is actually based on this model, and I'm not sure of the maker of the model. It took me a long time just to find this picture. Anyway, lately I've been dipping my toes into building dioramas, and the first one I did was this Evil Dead diorama. Didn't think it turned out half bad. I made the deer head myself. I was pretty surprised that turned out well. Seemed very cathartic. I enjoyed the process of making this very much, and I just want to do a few more. I have a pretty big figure selection that I'd like to give homes for a lot of my little monsters. So anyway, I decided to go ahead and try to work on the Phantom's lair. I started out with the 1-inch pink foam insulation, and you can see here I've already laid out the blocks for the wall and the floor, and I'm actually making a second step or story. I guess you couldn't call it a story, but the second step for the diorama here. Gonna speed this up a little bit. This is the first how-to of something like this I've ever done, especially in the modern age, if you guys remember me from way back in the day of the early to mid 2000s when I was actually active on YouTube. Anyway, here I'm laying out the floor on the second story, or again, not a second story, but just the step. And like I had mentioned earlier, I'm fairly new to making dioramas, and I'm just eyeballing these blocks, trying to get a scale in my mind of how they would look with the figures. I know some diorama builders out there actually scale their bricks and their blocks to actual real-world sizes, and I'm not sure how to do that because I am not that smart. Here's an interesting but not interesting fact. I mute everything because I listen to podcasts while I'm doing this, and I don't want to get a copyright strike. Although I don't make any money doing these videos, I'd really like to get back into doing them just for the fun of it. Here I've made the first little step to the raised platform, I guess you would call it. And I'm just kind of filing out the ends. Here I'm using an old paper mache pumpkin project that I never finished to texture my block. This pumpkin actually works really, really well for the texturing. Now I'm working on the pillars that I will attach to the walls of the lair. And I'm using hot glue to attach everything. I know there's foam glues out there, but so far anything I've done, the hot glue seems to hold very well. Now I'm making a couple rails for my I guess it's a sewer moat is what you would call it. Just a couple upraised stone pieces for the canal, the sewer canal. Here I'm trying to make the top of the door using a cup for the radius. You'll see later that I really kind of mess up the entryway. The door turns out good, but the top of the door, the transom, does not look great. Here I'm just measuring out lines to represent wood planks for the door. Usually when I make doors, which I haven't made many, but usually I use a wire brush to make the wood grain texture, and for some reason I completely forgot to on this project. Now I'm just drilling out some holes to run wire for torches. If you guessed that is Major Maxim from Danger Girl, you get bonus points. Just use him for scale. Now I'm doing some wall damage here with an X-Acto knife. Here I'm painting the torches. I made these out of Sculpey polymer clay. Just kind of make them look like a piece of wood, a branch or something that's broke off. I put a little band around it to represent like a metal holder. And I put a hole in the top so I could run some LED lights into. I'm not very good at LEDs. Just now kind of learning them in the last couple years, and I don't actively learn them. I just learn them 5 minutes before I need to get a project done. Now I'm using a hot glue technique that I learned on YouTube. Basically, you take the hot glue and put it on your light, kind of let gravity take it. You can take a toothpick while it's still setting up to make the details of your flame. There's a lot of tutorials on YouTube about how to make these flames out of hot glue. Painting my torches with a mix of yellow, orange, and red. I'm not great at it, but it's serviceable. Now I'm just running the wires for my LED torches. In a moment you're going to see I put the power box in a very obvious and unhidden place, but due to where it's going to be displayed, it's not going to be noticeable. And now it's time to test. They look good. Once again, like I said, it's in an obvious place, but you're not going to be able to see it. And now I'm going to make the moat. Using resin here, squeezing just a little bit of green into it. I'm not very good at resin, but I can get it done. And here you see I added a sewer drain pipe. I used PVC and just painted it black and hot glued it to the wall. And I'm going to use hot glue to make a sewer runoff because I wasn't real sure how to do it with resin to make it look like it's running. So I just used hot glue and some lighter green paint to give the illusion of flowing water. And if you look close enough at the transom above the door, you don't even really have to look that close. It's pretty obvious. I did kind of botch that up. So I tried to fix it using some black silicone and painting that to match the rest of the wall. It didn't turn out great, but I'm okay with it. Just adding detail and color to all the damage in the concrete or the stonework. Now I'm using watered down black acrylic paint to do a light wash over everything, and here I'm letting it run down the wall to stain the wall a little bit. I'll do the same to the door. And here I'm just turning it on its backside and repeating that process. And now it's time to add all the little fun details. The posters, I kind of searched online for 1800s opera posters and just printed those out to scale. And I'm just putting a little bit of white glue on the back of them to stick them to the wall. The organ came with a Diamond Select Phantom of the Opera figure that I got quite a few years back. And here's the final result. Added a couple more props that I gathered over the years from other figures just to round out the display. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed making it, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.